What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Got an interesting video for you guys today, the end of Lyft. Before we jump in this video, we wanted to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Solo. Solo is a great way to make more money as a driver. You're gonna get better pay, better earnings, and most importantly, guaranteed pay. For our viewers, you can get $10 for free just for signing up using our link in the description below. Let's be honest, that 10 bucks might be more than the first 2 rides you give today because they've cut our rates so much. So make sure you check that out, guys. It's free. It's an amazing app, probably my favorite one as a driver that's ever been out. And let's dive into the video. Alrighty, so shares of Lyft are down 31%. According to S&P Global Market Intelligence, the ride-sharing company posted earnings and revenue in line with analyst expectations, but gave out weak guidance for its upcoming quarter. The stock was down as much as 35% since market close and is now down 60% in the last year. Translation, not good. Lyft released its earnings for the first 3 months of 2022. Revenue had grown 44% year over year to $876 million, and adjusted earnings per share came in at 0.07 cents. Both numbers beat analyst expectations coming into the report. So why is the stock down so much? Well, their second quarter was pretty underwhelming. The company is calling for revenue between $950 million and $1 billion next quarter, which is less than $1.02 billion Wall Street was expecting. On the conference call, executives also talked about continuing driver incentives to get them on the road and picking up customers. Those incentives, man. This combination of weak revenue guidance and the need for incentives is not a good look for the health of the business. Lyft is still highly unprofitable. It had an operating loss of $200 million in just quarter one alone and burned $167 million in free cash flow. For a business that is supposed to be thriving with the reopening of the economy, this is also not a good look. If Lyft is not profitable now, when will it ever be? To me, the answer is never. I think the only way really either company survives, I mean, Uber's technically doing better, but the only way that either company survives is getting rid of us, getting rid of the drivers, going fully autonomous. That tech isn't really that close to being ready. Uber Eats is supposedly going to have a fleet of autonomous cars going out in California, but most experts say that that technology is still 5 to 10 years out. But who do you think is going to be the first ones to get it and to test it? Uber and Lyft. That's if they both make it. But the problem is, they can't keep drivers on board long enough to get that far. So the churn and burn rate, I mean, about 3% of drivers that sign up will stay for a year. Think about how much money they pay just to get one driver on the road. If they don't stay consistently, it's a huge loss. You guys have probably all seen the promotions if you're not that active. I don't drive a ton anymore. Even, a couple months ago, I had taken 4 or 5 months off from driving. Just didn't really seem like it was worth it. And to be honest, when I do go out there, I would really say it's more for networking for my own business. I mean, I'm not, it's like, yeah, maybe I get some beer money. Maybe I paid my utility bill with it. I'm a single guy with an apartment, it's not a hefty bill. So the problem to me is they've avoided prioritizing drivers. And so they've always said, okay, well, we've got to hit X number. So how do we do that? Well, we've got to cut rates for the drivers. Can't raise the prices because we need customers to keep paying. Okay, so what's the loss going to look like? Well, we'll lose a lot of our experienced drivers. Guys like me, probably a lot of men and women like you guys watching that drove for years, saw the heyday of it, had times where you actually made a great living. Didn't matter if you ran through cars every 2 or 3 years. It still made sense. Problem is, it doesn't make sense anymore. You're destroying your livelihood to try and maintain some flexibility, but you don't have flexibility anymore because you have to drive 50 hours just for it to make sense. Unless you're doing something else on the side and you just need to make an extra 200 bucks a week, well then it makes a little more sense. But for most drivers, it really just doesn't anymore. And even if you're driving 20 to 25 hours a week, not full time, I still don't think it makes sense. Gas prices have gone down a little bit, but not enough. You know, so it's like, if you make $200 a week and even spend $50 on gas, that's crazy. A quarter of your earnings go to gas. Did you calculate in the wear and tear in your vehicle? Well, I mean, it's a little hard to do that, but it's gonna hit you eventually. So the more people drove, the more they saw that it didn't make sense. And new drivers that sign up in today's day and age, well, they don't see the beauty of it the same way we did. I, in my very first week, not knowing what I was doing, really confused, driving in the wrong area, I still think I made like $800 in like 30 hours. And I was 21 then. It was a long time ago. I mean, to me, I was like, oh, this is awesome, you know? Better than doing better than doing fast food, better than, you know, doing some construction job. Like I was like, this is awesome. But now what do you make if you do 30 to 35 hours not knowing the best way to drive? Probably not good money. So these new drivers sign up. So they lose all their experienced drivers, or at least a good majority. They pull in this influx of new drivers with these dumb promotions that are kind of a hoax. Like, give like an absurd amount of rides in your first month. And if you don't make $4,000, we'll cover the difference. No one's gonna hit that crazy amount of rides because that's like 60 hours of driving. So people get excited, they sign up, they do it for a week, and they're like, oh, this doesn't make sense. So they're losing drivers rapidly, their stock's tanking, and rather than just somehow, some way, finding some way to making our numbers better, they don't, they just keep cutting them. Introducing some new feature to get us all excited again. But the problem is, we don't fall for it anymore. So to me, I kind of thought when the pandemic happened, that was probably it. They managed to squeeze their way through that. But to me, it's just a matter of time before they don't make it. And they might squeak out just in time if some type of autonomous driving gets introduced at a very, very large scale. But I really don't see it lasting all that much longer. And I could see some very, very big changes in 3 to 5 years. Now, I've been wrong about this before. It's a massive company, and a lot of people will always be interested in doing some major investment in them. But it's definitely way, way, way shakier than it's ever been before. So anyways, I'm going to end it there. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out Solo so you can at least make a little more money on the road than you do driving for Lyft. $10 just for signing up. Like I said, link in the description. It does have to be our link for that to work. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more updates.